here, and just wanted to do a quick video on temperature. Specifically temperature on when you spawn, temperature of the blocks when you spawn. I did 2 batches of Lambert's lamb oysters, which is a blue, or it's technically a gray. I call them blue oysters. They look very similar, but when I'm selling them to my chefs, I found that people buy them more, the chefs buy them more when you say blue than gray. Go figure, a little white lie. They very much overlap. But anyhow, so they're technically a great oyster. So I spawned some on March 19th, and I spawned another batch on March 20th. Now, if you're watching this like way from that, way into the distance, it is April 6th. So the ones that were spawned the day later, on the 20th, they went into the grow 3 days ago. They went into the grow at 2 weeks to the day of when I spawned them. They were perfect. They were colonized within 5 days, and they weren't like totally crazy all the way white in 5 days, but they were all the way colonized. And so I waited until they were nice and fully colonized, and white through, and they went into the grow. Yeah, I just lost my train of thought for a minute. Anyway, sorry, my bad. So the ones that were done on the 19th, I pulled one bag aside. This one is like, really kind of bad example. It's working there, it's chugging along. It's colonized there, but it's got a long way to go here. And you're always going to have, not always, but you're going to have that kind of block here and there, regardless. This is one that's more, like the other ones that were done the day before on the 19th. So it's gotten there, and probably within another 5 days, this batch, the 19th, will be ready to go in. So what was the difference? The difference was I got impatient with the ones on the 19th and spawned them probably a good day too soon. They were warm, and I knew it. Katie and I were in here, and we spawned. And soon I already knew that they were probably a little warm. When I opened them up, and started putting the spawn in, I could feel the warmth, and I was like, "Urgh." But we were on a certain schedule, so I was like, screw it, let's go ahead and do it. And if anything, this will be a learning lesson just to see what happens. Well, the mycelium, obviously, some of it died, is basically what happened. And the ones that lived, thank God, some of it did live. It's just taken that much longer to colonize. So let's say I put in a cup of spawn, maybe half of that spawn died, half of that, the mycelium. So the one that was done a day later and totally cooled was fine. So I guess the moral of the story is definitely give yourselves that cooling time. If you touch the block on the outside and it's cool, it still could be, warm on the inside, all right? So another thing that I've been doing, again, I said this room, the lab, technically, and I've got this plastic here that I pull up, closed, because I've got a space heater behind me in this room, so I kind of close it off. And then when I'm spawning and stuff, I just pull these carts in and out, whenever I need to. But while I'm cooling them off, once they come out of my sterilizer, it's a little dicey, but I roll this cart out with the cooling blocks on them, and actually put them in the other room, the room that is cooler, that I can't warm up. So I take them from a very hot environment, cool them down out there, and then bring them back in here to spawn. I could just keep them in here, as much as I need to, maybe 4 or 5 days until they cool down naturally. But I don't have that kind of time. I need to be spawning more, so that's just something that I have to do with the space that I have, and it's because I don't have enough sterilizers at the moment. I don't have enough sterilizer space. So I hope this helps. Well, let me go backwards real quick. So if you're doing, if you're sterilizing your bags, a big autoclave, I don't know, that's something totally different. But if you're doing like a drum or something like that, what I do, if I spawn it, if I make the block and I put it in the sterilizer today on Monday, it'll be done in my sterilizer, call it 19 hours total time, on Tuesday, right? On Tuesday, I'll let it stay in the drum for another day, which brings me to Wednesday. I just want to let it cool down. And normally, I have a PID controller, so I can see what the temperature is on the inside. So normally around 110 degrees, maybe something like that, I'll take the lid off and let even more of that steam and, let it kind of come down again. That's on Wednesday. So sometime Wednesday, I generally will put on my heavy gloves, my heavy, rubber gloves, and I'll pull them out and put them on carts. Now they're like really hot, at this point, but that's the quickest way for me to cool them off. So Wednesday they go in the cooling racks, and they should stay there for me 2 days. So the last time, if we're doing this example, I spawned on Thursday, and I shouldn't have. I should have spawned on Friday. So that's basically start on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 4 days. 4 days from the time that you start is when you should spawn. At least again, that's what my my joint is. So if you have any questions, be sure to leave it in the comments. If you want to know, where I get my racks, my sterilizer, the gloves, all that kind of stuff, it's in my kit page, which is right above the comments section. And that's about it. So take your time, and it's well worth it. So this little mistake here is costing me a good week's worth of production, a week delayed production, if that makes sense. So if I'd have just waited 1 day, it would have been so much better. So thank you so much. Have a great one. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. And Wakanda forever. I've been wanting to say that so long. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, shame on you. You better go to the movies. All right, love you guys. Bye.